I heard him playing on Broadway the Beethoven Pathetic Sonata, which was quite amazing, because he played it very well as a real musician, as a real piano player, and then he played the game that he lost his way, and he found his way again, and that was quite amazing, wonderful.
He's one of the more interesting people that I know. He has wonderful wit and charm, and he has this tremendous charisma. The ladies simply love him.
In many ways, the most startling and remarkable thing about Dudley is the thing which is least talked about, because people always talk about this strange faun-like sexuality and the enchanting charm of this funny, small man. Whereas, of course, the most remarkable thing about him is his extravagant, promiscuous endowment musically.
Go.
Hey, with these I can finally go to London.
The qualities that attract me towards Dudley was his sensitivity and his compassion and his willingness to get inside of you, and I really adored that, and I adore that. And he listened, and I needed to be heard.
I was in the bathroom the other day. Of course you were, Dad, I remember that. Of course I was. And I had the feeling of somebody in the room with me, you know. I thought, funny, you know. Bathroom door locked, you know, funny.
Somebody in the room with me.
Funny, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't see no one come in. I thought, funny. You know, felt these eyes burning in the back of my head. Funny, you know.
I'd say he's a very physical performer. He got tremendous enjoyment out of making people laugh, and his enjoyment came across to an audience very well. He liked confiding in them, twinkling to them, bubbling and frothing, and generally horsing around in a very enjoyable for him and enjoyable for them way.
Well, this is my home. It's at the Marina del Rey in California. And who would have known that I'd have ended up here, except, I suppose, it's a place where I can work. I think that was very uppermost in my mind when I came here. I'm a very nostalgic person. I've lived here in California for 20 years, but I'm surrounded by things from my childhood. Not actually things from my childhood, but things that remind me of my childhood. Although I do have a thing from my childhood, my piano, which I played on, which my father bought for me when I was born. I was born on Good Friday, 1935. I was presented to my mother as her hot cross bun. She was a shorthand typist in the City of London. My father worked on the railways as an electrician, electrifying coaches, I believe. Whenever I go to Dagenham, which is where I was brought up, it's a northeastern suburb of London, where a lot of people from the East End congregated. I go on this sort of forelock tugging nostalgic tour around my old school and my old home. Hey, how are you?
Very
nice
well.
to see you.
Nice
Hi.
to see you.
How are you, sir?
Nice to see you.
You too? Oh, my God.
It's all changed, hasn't it?
It has changed, yeah. Bit of paint. Right here, I can see where we used to put our coats, actually. And you've you've taken the door off here, right?
Yeah, so there used to be one there.
Because there used to be one, because I knew it used to be closed when my mother used to, you know, wash her bits and pieces, as she used to call them. And there used to be an upturned shoebox here, which my dad used to sit on every time he came back from work. And my sister, I haven't really said much about my sister. She was, and it still is, 4.5 years older than I am.
I had a piano teacher called Miss Hoggart, and she used to come to the house and give me a half-hour lesson for 1 shilling. And Dudley started with Miss Hoggart, and I used to practice all week, and he never used to practice, and I used to get my knuckles rapped at the next lesson, but he never did. He always whistled through exams and everything like that.
I was born with 2 club feet. My right one righted itself, so my mother said. The left one had to be worked on a tad. And I think I was in and out of hospitals till I was about 7, until my mother said, well, enough, no more of that stuff, for which she wasn't prepared and for which I wasn't prepared, obviously. I suppose at the bottom I thought I'd done something wrong, I don't know. My family used to appear at the bottom of the bed every 2 or 3 weeks, it seemed, and sat around shiftily. I couldn't believe the hostility, you know, that goes on between kids. There was one kid who used to call me Hopalong Cassidy, which seems to be quite a fair comment, actually, when I think of it. Although, I shall always remember that taunting refrain. I think that, you know, I've in a way led a fairly isolated life in my life generally. It's been with a purpose of becoming isolated, you know. That's why it's nice to work in film, because you can always be amongst a lot of people and then get out, which is, I suppose, how I felt about things and how I do feel about things.
Oh, it's lovely to see you.
You too, yes.
You see you the other night on television.
Oh, was it the other night?
Well, Steve, we've known you since you was about 9 years old.
How are you? Nice to see you. Hello.
He's never ashamed of where he lives, are you?
Oh, I love it. Love it.
That's really nice.
Well, Dudley was very much my best friend, and we lived together in this road for several years. We lived fairly close to each other. He had 146, and we lived at 112. I think people must have found us a bit of a nuisance, actually. We were fairly noisy, running up and down the road for hours during the summer, playing jokes on people. He had a very good sense of humor. He also was, I think, a difficult friend to have sometimes, because my parents found him so charming and pleasant that it was very difficult for me to follow that act.
When I came here, it was called Dagenham County High School. I used to play this piano every now and again on a Friday morning when a prefect, as he was known, we used to go and read the lesson, and then he used to sometimes, you know, choose me to play. I remembered the old school hymn, "Rise in the strength of God and face life up your way with better hope and stronger will than in the past."